Hello, hello, hello. I see that someone has already come in. I'm just waiting a few minutes. I decided to turn the live on a few minutes early just to give some time to get situated and everything. Let's see what can I do with this. I am going to start talking about being centered at exactly 10:30. So we have a few more minutes. Hello, Shalom, Davideo, the artist. How are you this evening? Blessed, just be learning. That's always a good place to be in, learning. This is going to be interesting. I'm glad that you are acknowledging that you are definitely blessed. Can you hear the music playing in the background? I had it playing in the other room, but I wanted to kind of play in the background here a little bit more. Can you hear it a little more now? That is the Healing Garden. I played this last week. I think it was. I don't remember what day that was, but I played it last week when um when I actually did a stream, another 8 hour stream. All right, so it is 10:30, so it is officially time for me to start. Okay, so hello everybody. I'm your girl, Raining Woman, of course, and I'm coming to talk about being centered and give an update on me from this morning. So during the stream this morning, if anyone caught that, I spoke about. Can you hear me okay, David? Can you hear me okay? Let me know if I need to turn the music back down or if everything is good. You can, great. So this morning, my emotions, I had a full range of emotions. I had mixed emotions. I had a lot of thoughts in my head, and everything was just kind of running together. And I was saying that I needed to work on being still, creating that stillness, get into a still place within myself with everything that was going on. And I went and spent some time with my elderly cousin, whose daughter we just had unplugged from life support this morning, which which she passed at she the the doctors were giving the permission to take her off of the machines around 6:30 this morning. And so it took a few hours and she transitioned peacefully around just after 10 o'clock. So the doctor said that she had a very peaceful transition, which is always nice to hear, you know. Because I've heard about people that have a struggle in their transition and how horrible it is to witness, and definitely horrible, to witness or even to hear about. So we're glad to get their report. But as I was talking things out with a young lady that is working with me on my investment company, and sorting things out, like taking her through my experience, what's going on with me with life, so that she could also see through my experience what how life happens and how you have to push through when life is happening. How you have to how being on purpose is very important, and staying on task is very important, even when life challenges you, and being able to recognize where you are in your stages of life and in your process of things, right? And I went over, my elderly cousin asked me to come over and spend time with her because she was alone. And so I went over to spend time with her. And someone else finally came and everything. So as we're going through what's happening, as we begin talking about plans for laying my cousin to rest and all of that, um, I'm still just kind of like trying to take everything in my own way, still trying to figure things out, and in my own way, not trying to show try not to show. Shalom Omega, thank you for being here. Try not to show any of my own emotions from dealing with my mother's transition anniversary, and having it mixed with theirs, so that it's not about me, right? So that in no way does it become about me. And not that I'm not allowed to feel, not that I'm not allowed to have my feelings, because I am, but we have to sometimes learn to be selfless, even when we have every reason to be selfish. So, managed to do that. Praise be to the Most High that I managed to do that. And because along with that, too, is these family members were very close to my mom as well. And to have them to be in recognition of the anniversary of my mother's transition, when they are dealing with immediacy of um, um, with the immediacy of their family member, right? My cousin, that would have been too much, right? And then that would also that would cause them to try to put their feelings off to the side for even a second, to comfort me, right? And then to be at a battle with themselves of maybe we shouldn't lean on Nikki so much right now, or maybe we shouldn't call Nikki right now, or oh my goodness, um, maybe we should just, let Nikki have her space, right now. Nikki needs her space and let us just, figure it all out or whatever. And going into the women in my family are very nurturing, right? So also that would have put them in a mix of let us cater to her while she's here, and then when she leaves, then we can, kind of get back to us. And so to that'll be them being selfless when they have every reason to be selfish. So sometimes you have to give way to a greater need. And you have to be able to quiet yourself down. You have to be able to, you really got to be able to, in the midst of the chaos in your head and in the midst of the chaos in your heart, you have to be able to just be quiet in order to get the energy that is needed for you to really assess how to handle such a delicate time and a delicate situation like this. So I'm very grateful to the Most High. Shalom, all right, and shalom, and thank you all for being here for me to be present in doing that. So when I got home, or on the way home, when I left, when on the way home, wait, and let me say, I took, oh my God, when more family members came around to my cousin's house, it was like something just hit me over the head. It was like I was hit over the head with a hammer, and I was just put to sleep. Like I was knocked out like that. Like it was like 1 minute I was present, and the next minute I was out like a light, comatose, just sleep. And when I woke up, and they were laughing about, how knocked out I was and everything. Because apparently the chair that I was sitting in, I literally turned this chair and folded up like a baby and contorted my body, and then I was just like out of there. But in that sleep, in that nap, also gave me a covering of peace, right? So when I woke up and everything, and we ate, they had brought some food, so I ate a little something and kind of gathered myself and started preparing myself to leave and everything. And I was still, I had peace, but I was still had this search. Like I still had this desire to figure out, what am I supposed to do right now with everything? What am I supposed to do? So on the way home, I called one of my other elderly cousins, gave her an update and talked some things out with her. And I'm still like in that space of, what do you do? I'm like, everything. When she asked how I was doing with everything, and I told her, I said, one thing I know is everything will be all right and I will be all right, but it's not all right now. Oh, let me hold on. Let me. The computer is saying, "Charge me up. The battery's gonna die." Excuse me. And I know that I'm long-winded with this story, but I'm really trying to give some backdrop to the message so that the message has more meaning and that the message is more clear and more defined. So, talking with my elder, through that and saying, hey, honestly, like it's tough because I have this emotion over here, but everything will it's not okay, but everything will be okay. I'm not okay right now, but I have confidence I will be. It will be all right. And I trust God. I trust the Most High. I just trust it. I just trust. So when I got home and started getting situated again here at the house, still in this kind of meditation mode, like what's happening, right? And a playback of what I just, one of the things where I kept getting stuck at is how everything is happening. It's just like it's an onslaught of things. It's like it's no break, you know? And so I'm like, okay, the exact same time that this time last year, the exact same time last year, when I had to have my mother hospitalized, is the exact same time that my cousin starts going to the hospital. And at the time that I was bringing my mother home to start hospice and to take care of her, my cousin is in the hospital and she is on life support. And on the anniversary of my mother's transition, the family is called together to make our peace and say our goodbyes to my cousin. And I'm trying to think, I'm like, why, and at the same time, for those, many of you know that I have my brother, the situation with my brother that's, that's ongoing. And I'm like, I'm just like, what is this? Like, how you can't, this is unscripted. It doesn't make any sense. And then a little while ago, still in the reflecting, it came to me that sometimes what we go through, even though it's about us when we're going through it, it's still not about us when we're going through it. Because sometimes what we're going through, us overcoming it, us pulling through it, is the preparation for us to assist somebody else in the process. And so I was reminded of how on another side of my family, one of my cousins lost both of her parents prior to me losing my mom and prior to me losing my biological father, right? And shalom, Sheep Stay Sleep TV. I didn't mean to not recognize you. And shalom, Raw Honesty. Thank you for being here. So I was thinking about that and how when I started going through the things with my brother, going through the things with my mother's transition, how my cousin was able to come in and kind of help me through my process, right? And then right along the heels of right along the heels of the anniversary of her father death, which that cousin actually was murdered, and we're getting ready to go to trial for his murder. So, I mean, we're not going on trial, but we're ready to go. We're getting ready to go. You know how we're getting ready to have, some say, have the trial. Um, but thinking about that, it was like, okay, the human part of me is what is connected to all of the emotions that are about me, the human part of me. When I honest about the human part of me and not trying to ignore or not trying to shove it away, not trying to pretend it's not there, that allows the spirit to deal with the human part of me, and the human part of me to then begin to rely on the spirit. Shalom, Ledford, shalom. Thanks for being here. Um, and so, in that, and in my sharing with the young lady that I'm mentoring in my investment business, and that we're working together on things, and sharing that, it like dawned on me about this is also where, when times like this happen in life, where you still have a choice, where we have a choice of going forward with our purpose and understanding that our purpose and our goals, the things that we're working for and that we are living for, don't stop because of life happening. And even when things happen in multiples around you and within you, it doesn't stop your purpose. It doesn't stop these things happening, they don't stop my purpose. And so then I began to say, all I know to do is kick in even harder with my faith and trusting the spirit in the unknowns, in the things that I have no control over, right? And then I was reminded of something that I recorded last year, at the tail end of last year, where I was talking about circumstances and chance happens to everyone. And it's what we do with the circumstances, and it's what we do with the chances that are given to us that defines and brings results of the next thing, of the action that we take in that, right? So, just like all these things are happening with me right now, somebody else, life is happening to somebody else at the same time. And what seems, and not to negate at all what's happening in my life and what I'm dealing with, not to negate it at all. But somebody else had to endure either something similar and are enduring something similar and are choosing and has chosen to go forth. They have chosen to still be about their purpose, right? Finding that balance. My brother's surgery was but my brother's surgery went well. Thank you, Nedford. Thanks for asking. And so, in all of that, and allowing recognition of my feelings, and in allowing recognition of the many thoughts and the unsettlement is actually what allowed me, what is actually what empowered me to get back to the place of balance and being able to be grounded and being able to be centered, even amidst the chaos, and trusting, allowing myself and saying that so many things are beyond my control. They are. So many things are beyond my control. But what I do have control over is I have control over my emotions. I have control over my energy. I have control over my response. I have control over my action. I have control over my choices. And the things that I don't have control over, in order to continue to go forward, to trust the process and to trust the Most High, to trust Yah, that He will see me and it through if I am open and honest and vulnerable and allow Him to do so. And in that, I can be who and what I need to be for everyone else. I also came to, in my reflection of this, I also came to a conclusion that I have not been, and this is my judgment, this is my opinion for myself, is that I have not been a the best daughter, the best sister, the best student, the best business person, and the best friend in the past year. Because because I hadn't even been the best caretaker of myself in the past year. Now, granted, excuse me, granted, I had the loss. Granted, I had my brother's illness, and I had car accidents, and I had the elderly, my elders, with their declination, their declining. And granted, I had all these things. We can say that I had reason, but the reason doesn't the reason and doesn't stop the facts. So those are my facts. So when I say that I hadn't been the best daughter, I know that my stepdad, that I call dad, that's dad to me, my stepdad, since my mother's transition, I had not been as communicative with him as I was in times past prior to. And he's not in the best of health either. And some of my friends, people that I know love me, I had not been as communicative with them. And while I can appreciate them giving me my space, while I can appreciate them giving me my space and respecting the place that I'm in, knowing that there was a shift in me, not knowing how to bring it all together, not knowing how to be the same. Now it's not that I wasn't mean to anyone, I didn't mistreat anyone, but not knowing how to be the same to me means that I wasn't good. As I wasn't good. So I thought about that. And then like I have a nephew, that's locked up. And I haven't written to him. I haven't seen him like I had been. And just a lot of things off. Even with my brother, even though I'm there for my brother, and I have other brothers and sisters too, even though I'm there for them, I still didn't know how to really connect or I just didn't know how to be the same. I didn't know how to relate to what seems like the unrelatable, right? And just connecting. And in recognition of that, in acknowledgement of that, I said, you know what? I can own that. I don't, because for me, it's not a pass. It's just not a pass. And I know that they understand, and I know that they're considerate of me. I know that. But in that consideration and in that knowing, it's that being aware now that there is a new possibility available of now bringing it all together and communicating, expressing, allowing them into that space of my expression of and my acknowledgement of I know that things were not the same. And in your consideration of me and in your support of me, I acknowledge that there is room in the growth of me as a person. And that's that awkward space I was talking about earlier too. Like it just feels awkward. It just this whole new space, like everything just feels awkward. But in that awkwardness is that place of growth, of saying, you know what? This is how things have been. And this is where I did not know how to bring this together. I didn't know how to go through my transitional period of loss and mourning and still relate to you the same. I acknowledge that. And whether it was right, wrong, or indifferent, right now it doesn't matter because I'm able to acknowledge the difference of attitude and the difference of change in me. And now that I am aware of that, now that I can acknowledge that, now I can say that I have room to include you in my healing. I now, and that takes growth, that takes understand, that takes, um, man, it takes, it's back to that awareness, it's back to that conscious awareness. And so, smash the like button, peeps and subscribe. So that's that being centered. That's part of that being centered. So that's where I'm at now. And it feels so good. Like once all of that came full circle to me for that understanding, everything that I was feeling on the inside and all those thoughts that were just like they were just trying to get out. It all made sense. And it was like a stillness. It was like just a place of relaxation, a place of peace. And then I said, I went back to the word. I went back to the Bible. And I went back to what the Most High says about keeping my mind stayed on Him and about peace, an unspeakable peace. And I said, you know what? When it gets like this, and when I'm in the middle of doing something or I'm trying to sort something out, and it's all positive, whatever, all I gotta do is say, peace, be still. And allow from the inside out, just allow that stillness to take place and say, peace, be still. And let all the thoughts that are there, once again, it's not about denying how we feel. Because one thing about mastering our emotions, which um, I totally believe that we are able to master our emotions. But the beginning of mastering our emotions is acknowledging our emotions. So, in that, and in saying, peace be still, peace, and learning how to quiet yourself in the midst of a bunch of noise, because sometimes you have to learn how to create a quiet space within you when you're surrounded with noise at work, when you're surrounded with noise at home, when you're surrounded with noise at different outings, different events. Sometimes you have to learn how to quiet a space within you. And I'm finding that speaking to and declaring that peace comes, and that recognizing that you have the ability and you have the power. If you trust the Most High, if you trust the power that the Most High has given us in being still and in saying, peace be still. And that's where the word shalom comes from. Shalom is Hebrew for peace. And then Jehovah Shalom means Yah. Jehovah. Jehovah is peace. Jehovah brings peace. So that's my balance, and that's my centering. I feel so much better than this morning. Like I feel I feel so understood now. And that's funny because no one was asking to understand, but I feel understood because I understand and I understand. So that's what I wanted to share about being centered. And so now everything I can go back and I can call people and I can say, you know what? When I shut this business concept down and when I said I was taking in more clients at this time, or I wasn't going to be working on this right now, now I can say, I'm ready. I can do this now. I can pick it up. Oh, it feels great. Ledford, it feels great. It does. Now I can go and I can say, you know what? I signed up for this and I haven't been the best student. But now I understand exactly where I am and what's happening, and I can pick this up now. I can pick up from right here. I got it. I can do this. And none of it no longer feels like this is how things felt. It no longer feels like this. Like things are just piling up. It no longer feels like things are just piling up. Just see that? It no longer feels like that. It feels, it no longer feels like this. It no longer, it no longer feels like all of this. You know, take that. And it doesn't feel like, you know, it doesn't feel like any of that. It doesn't feel like this. it feels like, it feels like this. So, thank you, Ledford, for sticking around and allowing me to go through all of that. What time is it? Ooh, so it's been roughly around just over 30 minutes. Um, let me go through the chat now. Thank you all for being here. Remember speaking to David Teo. I came from working out to confluence from hell and hearing this. Oh, thank you, Omega Dress. Peace, my twin, Artmas Style. Um, you're right. Peace and love from Sheep State Deep. Thank you. And of course, you all are talking to yourself. I mean, talking to each other. All right, I'm all caught up. So, Ledford, how are you doing this evening? And anyone else that is, still here hanging out, let me know how you're doing before. Awesome, awesome. All right. Well, I think you're the only one still hanging out. So I'm going to call it a night. And thank you for tuning in. And we'll come back tomorrow. Most High say the same. We'll be back tomorrow. Good night and God bless. And remember, you are beautiful, you are handsome, and you are more than enough. God bless. Oh, Left friend, I love you so much.